with Thrive Chiropractic Coaching. And again, this week we are with my colleague and now my friend, Dr. Colton O'Brien. That is hey Colton, that's rolling off my tongue easier and easier every week. You are embodying the doctor essence, identity.
That's right. I feel it now.
You do, don't you? I know, you're radiating it. So, dude, how many weeks in practice are you now?
Just shy of 2 months. But I'm calling it 2 months. So we'll leave it there for ease of conversation.
All right, man. So you are just about 2 months in practice, and you're in my opinion, you're killing it, man. You're doing better in practice than some chiros I know that have been in practice for, I don't even know, 20 or 30 years. You're rocking it.
I appreciate it. Some days feel like it, some days don't. I just gotta, just keep my mind right and trust the process. I mean, I'm an achiever by nature, so nothing ever feels like good enough. But I just also have to take that time to sit back and reflect and be thankful for what I have done and what I have right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like that's like a recurring theme in our chats.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
Yeah, taking time to take a look at everything that you have accomplished. So I haven't even known you for a year yet. And it hasn't even been a year that I've known you. And you went from the transition, like you're a totally different person than you were less than a year ago.
And I was reflecting on that this week. This time last year, I was starting my 9th trimester, and I had just stepped into some different leadership roles in school, and I felt so unequipped. And I'm like, what if I'm going to be a leader in practice? I got to continue to lead in school. And yeah, totally different. Small example is just public speaking. I was scared. I was so scared of public speaking in general, anywhere, 1, 2 sentences or however much time I had. I got so nervous. And now it's a daily process with all the networking stuff that I do. It's just I'm comfortable now, and I trust who I am, and I trust what's coming out because it's coming out in purity and it's coming out in truth. And so this week I have a 10-minute presentation coming up for a group. So I'm excited to iron that out a little more.
That's awesome. Hey, Colton, I was wondering, while you were saying that, there are so many people who are being held back in practice because of that exact fear. There are some people that I talk to, and they are so afraid to public speak that they would rather die before they had to public speak. So, how did you get over that? What did you do? What went on in your head? If you were teaching them how to get over that fear, what would you tell them?
Well, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I've gotten over it, because I still get anxious and I still get worried before I do it. But some things that I tell myself is just like what I tell myself before I'm going to work out or before I'm going to do anything. It's just hey, this is something that has to be done, so just do it. And then a friend of mine gave me some awesome advice, and it's if you're focused on you, your attention's in the wrong place. You're there to give something to them. So put your attention on them and bring value to them rather than worrying about what other people think of you. And another thing too, I think of it, any person I've ever heard speak, and I don't remember what they say. I really don't. Yeah, but it's what we always talk about. It's how you make them feel. So I just try to be my authentic self, and people see me as me. And that's the most important thing, that I'm putting myself out there, because the words I say truly don't matter. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that answer. And that is so true. You know, I remember when I used to first start doing my new patient workshops when I was first newer in practice. Okay, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Promise me you're not going to laugh at me
And
if I tell you.
Okay.
All right. You guys at home can't laugh, but every week when I would do my new patient workshops, before my new patient workshop, I would get diarrhea.
Oh my gosh.
That's how scared I was,
Yeah.
right?
That's the free game. Tell me real more.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then I think what you just said is really how I got through that was I just kept on reminding myself that this is not about me. This is not about me. It's not about me. It's not about what they think about me. In fact, what they think about me is none of my business. I've been called to have a mission, to have a purpose, and I'm responsible. My only responsibility is to deliver that to the world. That's my responsibility. I'm responsible for that. But I'm not responsible for how they respond. I'm not responsible for what they think of me. I'm not responsible for what they do with the information. And I am certainly not responsible if they want if they feel like they need to have some kind of confrontation, because a lot of people are afraid of having a confrontation because chiropractic is so different and unique compared to what they're used to, and that sometimes rattles people's like core belief systems.
Yeah,
So
wow.
sometimes, not that there's a big there should be a big confrontation, but sometimes, you are going to rattle, and you should be rattling people's belief systems. Why? Because they're coming into your office with a belief system that's killing, it's breaking down humanity. That's the medical philosophy, by the way, is what I'm talking about. They're coming into your office with an outside in perspective, and when you start sharing an inside out perspective, that's going to rattle a few people.
Yeah.
And that's natural. That's natural human psychology, right? But that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to deliver the message in the best way that you know how, and to show up for humanity. And when you start focusing on them, like you just said, I'm just repeating what Colton just said, by the way, but when you start focusing on them, because your focus is somewhere else, you lose focus of yourself. You
Yeah.
almost forget to be afraid,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
That's true. Yeah. And you can't worry about how people are going to respond to it. I mean, whether that's, I mean, for me, it's like whether it's like my faith or whether it's chiropractic, like it's going to upset somebody. But like you said, it's, if it upsets someone, and you're speaking truth, it struck a nerve and it might create change. I heard someone say the other day, truth sounds like hate to people who hate the truth. So it's like pretty, I was like, wow, that's kind of deep.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So it's just like, hey, keep speaking the truth. Some people won't like it, but like if you're living out of truth and you're living out of alignment, then you can sleep well at night.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. So let's talk about practice. So in my opinion, I think you're killing it in practice. You're doing a lot of promotion right now, because one of the things that you're working on is you're really working on building a nice, solid, firm foundation of practice members or people in your practice,
Yeah.
so that we can start generating, having those people and start having a referral generating practice. But before you have a referral generating practice, guys, you have to get some kind of people to refer, right? Don't you?
Yeah. It's like I'd love for it to be all referral based right now, but it's just not the case, and I'm working
It,
on it.
it'll get there. It'll get there. And I'm going to teach you, in the Thrive system, we didn't even get to this part yet, but I'm going to teach you how to create a referral based system. So that's coming down the pipe for you. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And it's actually really easy. It's really fun. It's really inspiring. It's really inspiring. And what else is it? Really motivating.
Yeah.
Yeah, so building a referral-based practice is such a dream, man, because once you get that foundation of people and they start referring, it's like, oh, it's just like freedom. It just becomes so easy, it just becomes so natural, it just becomes so automated. But Colton, for the people that are watching this, maybe chiropractic students or people that are opening a practice, what are the things that you're doing that have been successful in building and getting people into your practice and building that foundation of clientele?
Okay. A few things I'm doing. I'm trying to have 3 different types of like thing. Well, I mean, most of it's been like outside of the office work. So whether that be BNI has been huge for me. So at first I wasn't seeing a whole lot. Like the very beginning, I saw 2 people right off the bat, and like that was amazing. And then it took a while for people to build testimonies, like, and build trust in that. And then lately, like the referrals have just been flowing in through my BNI, which is Business Networking International. It's where you have a seat in a networking group and only one person in that profession. So it's like a team, it's a family where you refer to just that person. So that's been super great lately. Screening, spinal screening, setting up a booth at a gym or at an event or at a race, and just like doing spinal screenings, getting people in the pipeline, I guess, to come in the office. And then as of yesterday, I just launched my first Facebook ad. So doing some paid social media. Wrote the copy with I'm working. So a good friend and mentor of mine, I'll just give a little plug because they're awesome. Dr. Travis Stewart and his CA, they're kind of helping. They do great in digital marketing, and giving you the power to do it yourself rather than putting it all into like an outside company where you don't know what's going on. So it's like I'm learning this skill to market as I'm doing it. So rather than them just doing it for me. So it's been super valuable. So
that's cool. And do they have a company, Colton?
they're just 2 years out of school and they're crushing it. So like they're just starting. It's called Making Moves. And I can
Making Moves.
I can connect you to Travis if you want. He's awesome. So
Yeah.
I just have like this cool like foundation. Like I have you who's been in practice for so long and is just crushing it, has all these like time proven skills and systems, and then I have them who are like fresh out of school that like are hitting the ground running, and then like I'm right here, and so I got two awesome people helping me, and it's just such a blessing. So that, and then it's funny, I've had a few patients. Well, I get a few from organic social media, which is cool, from just posting and sharing my story. And then hey, sometimes God just puts people in your life, or puts you in people's life when they need you. Because I was just walking around to businesses, just handing out my business card, and I walked into a massage clinic, and I was just talking to the employees really, but there's a guy in a chair, and he's like, "What? You're a chiropractor? Like, I need you." And he's scheduled, and he's probably I don't know how to like word this properly. He's probably the most difficult case that I've seen in chiropractic, and he had lost all hope, and like this man has hope again, and he's ready to get well, and he's like, "Man, I can't believe I waited so long." But I was like, "Hey,
Wow.
first thing, all that matters is that you're here." So that's really cool whenever it feels
Wow.
like a divine intervention when some people come in. So
Yeah, I gotta stop you for just a second, because this just goes back, Colton, to what we were talking about, is when it becomes about them instead of it about you. Like you're changing people's lives. You're in some cases, like this man's case, you're saving his life. You're saving his maybe he's not ready to like die tomorrow, or maybe he is, but this is way bigger than us, this thing called chiropractic.
it's huge. It's huge. And just like, I mean, his biggest thing is like, I have two. I mean, he had kids later in life, and he's like, I have two kids under 2, and I can't even pick them up. What's going to happen whenever they start running? Like, I won't even be able to catch them. I'm like, he can't move. He like pretty much crawled into my office, and he's like, "Man, like, just help me, doc." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'll help you, but you got to help you too."
Yeah, I love that. Such a great story, Colton. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
We're improving. It's cool. We're 2 weeks in, and he's getting better. But I told
yeah,
him it takes time. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. This week in Thrive, we were our topic of the week was creating value. And that just reminded me, because somebody had asked me, like, how do I create more value in my practice, in my practice, and in regards to fees and things like that. And that this is one of the keys here in creating value, and that is you have to understand that when people come to your office, they're not paying you money for the adjustment. You think they're paying you money for the adjustment. They're not paying you money for your adjustment. They're not paying you money for your care plan. They're not paying you money for whatever it is that you're doing to them. What they're paying you money for is for a transformation of their life.
mm,
The value is not in the adjustment. The value is in what the adjustment does for the person, the quality of life restoration for that person.
Sorry,
That's the value. Who is that?
that was my wife. She was grabbing something.
You want to be on our podcast?
I think she's shy.
Is she shy?
No, I think that's so true because like that's the biggest thing. And that's the difference within like the care plan model is like you're not selling a crack, you're not selling a pop, you're not selling that one day, you're selling where they are and where they could be, where they can be rather. So it's about a transformation, not just feeling good one day or just one adjustment. And that's what I
Yeah,
try to communicate, especially when people are like, "Can I just come in for? Can I just get that?" I'm like, "No, I mean that would be me doing a disservice to you. You might feel good for a day, and I'm not underestimating the value of one adjustment because we both know one adjustment can change a life. But
sure.
if we want to see true results, it took people a while to get where they are, so it's going to take a little bit to get them back. That's the universal principle of time.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to say that. You took it out of my mouth. Yeah, so, and that mindset right there is why you're doing so well in practice, for sure. And why you're having, you're only a couple months into practice and you're already seeing healings in your practice. I talked to somebody the other day and they reached out to me to help them. They've been actually in practice for a while, a long time, and they reached out for some help in practice. And they said they've never seen a chiropractic miracle. And you're already seeing chiropractic miracles in your practice.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think some people see those and some people don't?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit with the adjustment, but like, I mean, you listen to how Tim Young talks about it, but like the adjustment goes as deep as your awareness or as deep as your intention. So if your intention is just to like, maybe alleviate a little bit of back pain, maybe you'll do that. But like if your focus is deeper and it's bigger and it's with pure intention, then there's no limits to really what can happen. That's why people heal. That's why we see chiropractic miracles. That's what happens whenever the spine is clear and free of interference. Like holding that intention, that vision is a lot higher than, hey, I'm just going to help someone be able to touch their toes, which is valuable too, but I choose to think a little higher, I'd say.
When you say you choose to think a little higher, like when you're like this happens, like when you're delivering the adjustment, like when you're giving the adjustment, you mean what are you thinking about when you deliver the adjustment?
That I know why I'm delivering this and where I'm delivering it is for the highest possible outcome. It's like that's what Marvin Talsky talks about too. Is like what is the highest possible outcome? I choose to align and think with that rather than it could be this or it could be that or it's gonna do this, but rather what is the best possible thing that could happen. And so, what is the best possible thing can happen whenever we have a clear, fully functioning nervous system? Life and life
Life.
abundance.
Yeah. Wow, I love that. That's so awesome. I love that. So cool. So anyway, let's do this. Why don't we wrap up our podcast for today? And this way you can get back to your beautiful family. And I can get back to Cole and his electronics.
Yeah, now you have the mics and we'll have great sound. So
Yeah, so Cole's gonna help us with our technology. But Lord knows I need help with technology. I
we all
think
do.
that's why he brought me Cole. I think that's why I have Cole. So let's just do one last thing and then we'll wrap on up. But Colton, if you were talking to somebody right now that was like just on the cusp of opening their practice, literally they were just like weeks before their opening day, what would you tell them if you could only tell them one thing to do? Only one thing. I mean, there's like a million things you need to know how to do, but if you could know one thing, the most powerful, most impactful thing, gun to your head, you could only say one thing, what would it be?
I would say don't put a limit on yourself. Like don't hold a limiting narrative in your mind because what you want to do is up to you. And I've realized that within my own self, and I'm speaking to myself, because in certain areas I put myself in a cage, but know that you can expand and you can grow to the, just like we talked about, to the level of your intention, to the level of your wants, to the level of your dreams. So I'm choosing to continue to hold that, and so should everyone else. And work, which I'm telling myself to.
Dude, I said only one.
Sorry. But hey, nothing works unless you do. So we can have all these grand intentions and dreams. And like I said, I'm speaking to myself, but like it takes work and effort
Yeah.
even in our downtime.
You know, can I just, and I know we said we were gonna like stop right after you said that, but I'm so glad that you said that. I'm so glad that you said that, because you know, a lot of people, there's, for whatever reason, from my generation to your generation, there's been a radical shift in mindset about work. And you know, my generation, whether it be good or bad, I have no idea. But you know, I grew up in a generation where you worked hard. You know, my dad at one point worked like 7 days a week to provide for, you know, our family. And that was his, you know, his biggest priority was providing for his family, you know. And certainly that work ethic ran off on me. And I'm gonna put this in air quotes, so lame, but I do it anyway. Like I work like sometimes 9, 10, 12 hours a day. And I put it work in air quotes because when I'm doing my work or my calling, it doesn't feel like work. It's very inspiring for me. So it's actually hard for me to stop doing it because I enjoy it so much. However, you know, I'm so glad that you said that, because somewhere along the line in history, people got this impression that you can create all this magnificent stuff without work. And that just goes against the laws of the universe, because you can't create without energy,
Yeah.
you know, and work is just energy. That's all it is. You know, call it, you know, you can call it work or you can call it having fun. I don't care what you call it, but it's energy that you put into something. And when you're building a practice and you're creating a practice, you know, think about you guys are gonna laugh. Don't, you're gonna turn red. I'm gonna tell you right now, Colton. Think about when you're creating a life. You have to put, you know, two people are putting energy into something.
Yeah.
Okay. So when creating a practice and creating a business, you know, you have to put energy into it. So I'm so glad that you did say that. So awesome. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm, you know, sorry to taking you away from your family. Go enjoy your beautiful family, and I'll see you next week.
Absolutely. You have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir.